And then
they do this fucking such a cool cut where he's about to kill Whitney.
Yeah, because Whitney falls back and she's kind of crawling backwards, and then she stops.
And he's like charging her really fast, and you think she's done for, and bam, it fades to black, and it says Friday the 13th.
And that's like
a 25-minute intro.
Yes.
A movie within a movie.
Ladies and gentlemen. That's a dope intro. Probably one of the dopest intros ever.
Oh, yeah. That right there makes this a success.
Yeah.
Because you've pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. I remember I took my sisters, I think one of my friends to see this, and they were like, they kind of scooted over to me and they said, where are they going with this? Like, we're 20 minutes in and everybody's dead.
Yeah.
And it was just the intro, and that was so awesome because it's like they kind of gave you 2 movies.
Yeah.
Or almost 3 movies with that short story of Pamela.
Yeah, with a 5-minute or 3-minute little intro.
Of the kind of the first film.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding the first film. And so that was really cool. And so we meet our new cast.
The new gang.
Which, let me see, where are their names?
So we got Trent, Chewie, Bree, and Lawrence, and Nolan.
Right? And Jenna.
Jenna, yeah, that's right.
Our final girl, if you will. And Chelsea, which is Willa Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so random because she had a music career in the early 2000s that I feel like nobody remembers her. But she was on MTV for a long time.
Yeah.
And then she just randomly popped up in this movie, and then she was never in anything again that I know of.
Yeah, I just did a movie. That's cool.
With my boobies.
Right?
Wakeboarding. Random. Yeah. Fucking random.
Yeah.
So we meet Jenna, Trent, Chewie, Chelsea, Bree, Nolan, and Lawrence.
Yeah.
And then Clay, who is a handsome motorcyclist.
Yeah.
Played by Jared Padalecki. He's looking for his missing sister.
Yeah.
Who just happens to be Whitney from the first group of people.
Yeah.
So he's kind of wandering around the kind of residential areas, the neighborhood of where they went camping.
Yeah.
Because he believes that she's still alive.
Yeah.
And there's something wrong because people keep telling him, well, what makes you think she didn't skip town with her boyfriend? And he says, well, our mom was sick with cancer, and my sister took care of her every day.
Yeah.
And then one day she didn't show up for the funeral. And you don't know my sister, but that's not possible.
Yeah, she wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Basically, is what he's saying.
Which is, I like that part.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Justifies why he's out there. And, what else?
They run into Clay in the gas station, liquor store, whatever market you want to call it, and he's asking the clerk, I guess, if he can put up a missing poster of his sister, in case anyone who stops by to get gas or whatever sees her and maybe recognizes her and can call him. And Trent, being the douchebag that he is kind of like, hey buddy, hurry up, are you gonna buy something? You've been up here for like 20 minutes jabbing with this guy, we gotta go. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm an asshole. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, this asshole over here. And it's right off the bat you get a sense of what the type of character that Trent is. He's the douchey leader,
or he thinks he's the leader.
Yeah. And but yeah, and then you kind of Daniel Pennebaker's character Jenna is kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, sorry for him, and then they kind of take off. And I like that he got to stick one of his sister's missing posters on the back of his Cadillac.
A little jab.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. Yeah, and then they get to their to Trent's family lake house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they do what you do in
party.
party, yeah, at a lake house.
And then we meet Donnie, who's the mechanic. He watches over an elderly man's property around the area, and Clay goes because he's going door to door.
Yeah, to try at least the residents that are in that area.
And he kind of comes up on him and he says like, "Hey, you know, have you? I'm looking for my sister. Have you happened to seen her?" And he says, "No, I wish I had, but I haven't, man. I'm sorry." And he says, "You know, somebody's been stealing the kerosene around here, and it wouldn't happen to be you, right?" You know, and and he's like, "No, you know, like I'm just looking for my sister," and they kind of depart ways.
Yeah.
And then later on, they use that kerosene thing as a plot device, and then we meet Donnie again, and he's kind of like this creepy guy. He does weird shit with mannequins and whatnot. And
what was the mannequin's name? Gina.
He's like, "Oh, Gina.
Remember that one night
you took my
virginity, Gina? You're still as tight as ever." I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they went real far with him. And and then Jason pops up behind him.
Yeah.
And they have a little tussle.
Yeah.
And he knocks Jason's sack off his face.
Yeah.
Exposing his disfigured form.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That shit ain't right, dude." Right. And Jason replies with a real big slice to his neck.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brutal.
Yeah. Nice and gory.
Yeah. And so Donnie dies, and Jason starts to put his knapsack back on. And,
wasn't it ripped, right? Did he rip it off of his head?
Yeah.
Okay, so he couldn't put it on anymore.
Kind of swats. Well, he picks it up, and then he out of his peripheral vision, he sees another mask, which the lighting right there is phenomenal.
Yes.
Man, that shot, I love it. And that's when he dons the famous hockey mask, and he's checking himself out in the mirror, and he's like,
"I look pretty creepy.
Oh yeah,
I look extra spooky."
It's hunting season, bitch.
Yeah. Oh no, that should have been a tagline. That would have been great.
And what else happens? That's when, and then it cuts to Jared's character meeting the old lady, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes and he gets barked at by her dog.
Yeah.
And she tells him what I said, basically like, "There's no hope. Your sister's dead.
Yeah, just give up.
Yeah, go home.
Yeah.
Your friends ran in the wrong area, and they're not coming back.
Yeah.
None of them. All right." And she just leaves it at that. And then he ends up at Trent's place. Unknowingly, he knocks on the door, and Jenna answers the door.
Yeah.
And because she's a nice person, she asks him in and says, "Yeah, you want a beer?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh no, your boyfriend won't like that very much, I don't think." And he hesitantly comes in, and then Trent comes out of the back, and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this guy doing here?" And they get into a little argument, and then so that causes Jenna to leave with Clay, and then they go on their little investigation for his sister Whitney on their own.
Yeah, because he asked her if he wants to go help him out or whatever.
And they end up back, and they walk into Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah,
pretty much. And Chelsea and Nolan.
Yeah.
Next, they basically they go to the lake to do some wakeboarding.
Yeah.
And Trent gives them the keys to the SUV, and they go.
He's like, "Oh, go take the gas to the boat. It's on the other side of the lake."
Because Chelsea's like, "Hey, do you guys want to come?" And they're about to say yes, and Nolan's like, "No, because I want I want to be alone, pretty much." And so they don't want to cock block, so they give them the keys and they head out to the lake, and they do some really cool. Chelsea wakeboards, and of course she's topless.
Yeah.
for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Other than this is it's Friday the 13th movie.
It's mandatory.
And Nolan, he's kind of enjoying himself.
He's
and
like,
then he gets an arrow.
Straight through the head.
Boom. Very, very suddenly.
Yeah.
And by this point, Chelsea's kind of wiped out.
Yeah.
And she's swimming along, and she thinks he's okay and that he's coming by to get her. And, of course, he's dead, and nobody's steering.
Yeah.
And the boat smacks her in the head.
Yeah.
Which is, that was like when I saw that really irked me, because it's like a phobia, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that to ever happen. And,
Yeah.
like, imagine... I don't even know how she survived that.
Exactly. I think she should have been knocked out and probably drowned. But
that would have been too easy.
Yeah.
I guess. And then they do this very iconic scene where it's a zoom up of her kind of waiting in the water, and then she turns around and she sees Jason waiting for her,
just chilling
to basically swim up to shore. He's waiting for her just offshore, like, oh yeah, come here, bitch.
Yep.
And she's like doomed because she's in the middle of this lake.
Who are you?
What do you want from me?
Yeah.
And they really capture this tone that I really like. And then they do. She basically gets under the pier thing, the dock, the wooden dock, and she's watching him kind of hover over, looking for where she is. She thinks he's left.
Yeah.
And she kind of lets out a breath, and then boom, she gets
shedding through the dome,
through the wood.
Yeah.
And they do this super cheesy shot where he pulls her up to kind of take the knife out.
Yeah.
And you see
it exposes her breasts.
Yeah.
You can see some boobies again.
Dead boobies.
Yeah.
Because that's cool, I guess. And then it just cuts.
She was owed one more shot in the contract, right? That's the only way they could have gotten it.
I just like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember seeing it, and I'm like, what's the they just did that to do that.
It's a bit much.
Yeah.
Like, to see some boobies.
Yeah. We need one more shot of him.
It was just a little immature there for me. What happens next?
That's when they cut back to...
Basically, the group is still partying at the cabin.
Yeah.
Completely unaware that anything's going on around them. And so Clay and Jenna are now searching at Crystal Lake. Mm-hmm. And it's revealed that Whitney, Clay's sister, is still alive.
Yeah.
And the reason why this is because she kept the locket, and Jason saw her, and she reminds him of Pamela, his mother.
Yeah.
So now, instead of killing her, he's kept her hostage.
Yeah.
Because he believes that it's his mom, or he wants her around because it's like a living...
Reminds him.
Yeah, a living, breathing memory.
Yeah.
Essentially. Which is pretty cool. A cool plot twist. So she's being held captive in the underground caverns that we talked about earlier, and that this is where they kind of reveal how Jason actually gets around so quick.
Yeah.
And how he is in one area to the next without
these tunnels.
Yeah, without people knowing. Whitney basically, as she finds this old walkie after he's brought down like these he's scavenged the stuff from these bodies that he's already killed, and she uses that to kind of unlock her shackles.
Yeah.
And she gets free, and basically we see her start running.
Yeah.
She doesn't care where, right?
And that's where Clay and Jenna, where they see Jason for the first time, because that's where she gets the walkie from too, Whitney, because it's from
his bag.
It's from his bag that he had left on the ground, and Jason finds it, and then he goes over and turns on all the floodlights, and he starts looking
Because
he knows someone's there because he didn't leave that backpack.
Yeah.
And that's when they end up taking off too.
They hide underneath these
canoes.
the canoes, and then he gets a sense that someone's under there, or they might be, and he fucking